Okay, now let's take another look at the wiring. And I'd say we're about done with the wiring. But let's get a look in here at exactly what we got going on. All right, so we have the Aculights board. Now the Aculights board is not 0.675, but that's okay. A little bit of filing on each side of it, and we can just put it down in there, and we don't even have to tape it or anything. It's just friction fit. Very easy to remove. And I just used a piece. I didn't shorten up any of the wires, so I just used some regular old electrical tape. And the reason I use this instead of other tape is this is really easy to remove. Remember when you get masking tape, and here's some yellow striping tape, each kind of masking tape has a time limit. When you buy it, pay very close attention to the labels on all of your blue painting tape, because it all eventually turns, the glue becomes permanent. Then if you try to tear it off something, like in painting, it'll take paint off with it. So it's got a time limit on it. But if you put it in here, it'll definitely exceed the time limit, and then it'll be messy and hard to remove, and we don't want that. We want, because I said, why put so much work into making it look cool underneath? These decoders turned out to be quite old. These are soundtracks, and as far as I can tell, they're called MC2s. And my guess is that in the future, probably within a few years, they're going to get upgraded to something better. So let's make it nice and neat as we can so it lasts as long as it will. And then make it really easy to do the upgrade later. So this is our wiring, and it's on this TCS connector. Beauty. Those are great. All right, and it's taped in there. Friction fit. No glue. No nothing permanent. Everything will just fit nicely. And the speaker itself is also going to be a friction fit. It'll just fit in there nicely. And we won't have to worry about, we don't have to tape it or glue it or nothing. So let's take one last look now at what we got here. So the Aculights board has 4 lighting functions, and actually it's got 4 lighting functions, but each one can have 2 lights on it. So like there are 2 LEDs in that rear light. And the Aculights board, for each color, so the rear light is usually the yellow, and you can have 2 LEDs on that rear light, and it goes on the Aculights board with no problem. And it's a very clever board, and they're not expensive at all, and they make things pretty easy. Okay, so now, as I said with the other one, because this board is old, even though it's 2016, the blue wire, which is the positive, these all say U plus on them, they only put out 1.5 volts. That is a known, that's a known thing. And these boards are old enough that somewhere over here there was supposed to be a 12 volt supply. It is not these guys. I tested those and it didn't work. They're nothing. Those are like screw mounting pads or something. They're not 12 volts. They don't put out anything. So we're using the current keeper one. That is, now here it has a black wire. But if this was like Digitrax or something, with Digitrax and TCS colors, this would be a blue wire. It's a common, it's a plus. Okay, then our functions connect up: headlight, rear light, beacon. And they work awesome. Okay, and then our speaker is connected, plus, minus. We tested it on the audio station. And this speaker here, like I said, if there were 2 of these, which would cut if we did 2 in series, it would cut down the resistance. They would be twice as loud because they would have half the ohms, something like that. Anyways, I would be afraid to actually do that on this because you might burn out the amplifier. If the resistance is too low on sound decoders, the amplifier gets burned out. too much power comes through it. But anyways, there it is. There's our nice wiring, nice, sweet, clean, and we're ready to put couplers on and get this thing all together. Now we're going to do some dress up in a little bit. Do a few things to make them look good, and there we have it. They're wired and ready.